It hasn't happened yet, but it's already written. That was the first thing I thought when I realized the cabin was too quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Not the kind you rent an Airbnb for when you want to reset your nervous system and pretend the world can't reach you. This was the kind of quiet that feels intentional, like something was waiting for me to notice it. The listing promised isolation. A-frame cabin, no neighbors for miles, spotty cell service. Perfect. I needed the kind of place where no one could casually drop by and ask how I was doing. I arrived just before sunset, unloaded my bags, and locked the door behind me out of habit, even though I knew it didn't matter. The first night passed without incident. Wood stove, canned soup, the wind scraping branches against the roof like fingernails. I slept badly, but that was normal for me. I told myself the anxiety would burn off after a day. The second morning, I noticed the door to the crawlspace. It was in the hallway, low to the ground, painted the same off-white as the walls, with a small brass latch that hadn't been polished in decades. I don't know how I missed it the first night. I kept stepping around it, like my body knew it mattered before my brain did. By afternoon, curiosity won. I told myself I was just checking for animals, mice, raccoons, anything that could explain the faint sound I'd heard under the floorboards while making coffee. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and knelt down. The latch opened too easily. A cold draft rolled out, carrying the smell of damp earth and something papery. Old, but not rotten. Preserved. I crawled in on my elbows. The beam from my phone cut through dust and insulation. The space was shallow but wide, supported by rough wooden beams. No tracks, no nests. Then I saw the notebook. It was tucked neatly between two joists, wrapped in plastic like someone cared about keeping it dry. My name was written on the front in careful block letters. My stomach tightened. I don't know why I didn't leave right then. I think part of me already knew I wouldn't be allowed to. I sat back on the hallway floor and opened it. The first entry was dated yesterday morning. It described me waking up disoriented, checking my phone for signal, making coffee I didn't really want. It mentioned the chipped mug I'd brought from home, the way I stared out the kitchen window longer than necessary, convinced I saw movement between the trees. Every detail was right. I flipped pages faster. Each entry logged my day in clean, detached handwriting. When I showered, what I ate, the exact time I noticed the crawlspace door. The last completed entry ended with, "She finds the notebook." The next page was titled simply, "Tonight." The handwriting was the same. I stood up. My heart was pounding hard enough to make me lightheaded. I checked the locks, windows, the perimeter of the cabin. No footprints in the snow. No signs of anyone else. I told myself it was a prank. A previous guest somehow guessed my habits. Confirmation bias, coincidence. Anything but what my gut was screaming. I sat at the kitchen table and read the next line. 1942. She reads this line and checks the clock. My phone buzzed as I unlocked it. 7:42 p.m. My hands started shaking. I dropped the notebook like it burned. I should have left, packed my car, driven until the road turned back into something recognizable. But the snow had thickened, and the access road was already half buried. I told myself I'd wait until morning. I picked the notebook back up. 1949. She tries to convince herself it can't know what she hasn't done yet. I was crying now, quietly, like someone else might hear. The next entries were written minute by minute. They described me pacing the cabin, checking the door again, standing by the window, watching the tree line even though I already knew there was nothing there. 1958. She considers tearing out the pages. I gripped the paper so hard it crumpled. 20:01. She hears movement beneath the floor. That was when it happened. A slow, deliberate creak, directly under my feet. Not scurrying, not random. Something shifting its weight. I dropped the notebook and backed toward the wall. The sound came again, closer this time, like hands pressing up against the underside of the floorboards, testing. I grabbed the notebook. I don't know why. Maybe I thought if I read fast enough I could outrun it. The final entry was already written. 2010. She realizes the crawl space was never empty. It was waiting for her to read far enough. The clock on the microwave ticked over. 8:10 p.m. The crawl space latch clicked open. From the hallway, I heard the slow drag of something learning how to stand.